I did take some beautiful pictures while in California. I'll show you those too. And I also took some pictures, and I have these amazing. Let me show you these pamphlets real quick. Let me get the angle down correctly. This is a pocket-sized version. I got these from the Ronald Reagan Ranch Center. I mean, look at this, with like actual notes on it that he took. This was the speech. Hey, Gorbachev, tear down that freaking wall. This is the speech. I've been listening to Reagan speeches for like the past 48 hours, and I'm like, I've never felt more patriotic in my life. These are notes that the Secret Service took at his ranch and whatever. I didn't know that that ranch setup, the center, was actually even there. I mean, that just blew my mind. I just happened to be, I'll be honest, I was at the hotel, right? And they got all those things with the pamphlets that you pull out of all the shit to do. Pull that out of the rack, Ronald Reagan. It was freaking amazing. And all politics aside, I'm going to show you the pictures in a minute. Don't get butthurt when I show Ronald Reagan stuff, because everything you probably believe about the man or his politics, somebody probably told you. Because if you took the time to actually listen to him, you might have a different opinion. And that's probably the purpose of the ranch. There was a movie that was 13 minutes. It's called Still Point in the Turning World. Even though that's been used a million times, I don't know why they didn't copyright that. That was one of the most amazing experiences of my life. Let me tell you that. I've always been a Ronald Reagan fan. I was a young boy when Ronald Reagan was president, and I was just like inspired like a freak, because all he talked about was things that are still relevant today. Like he would come out and say, the bigger government gets, the smaller people get. You run the government. The government does not run you. I mean, his whole thing was like that. And, but he was ridiculed and he was scorned, and they talked so much crap about him. It was unbelievable. But just listen to the man. I think he was inspired by God, personally. The Ronald Reagan Ranch Center. So, don't get all twisted. I actually did do some recordings there. And like I said, if I find that I can actually post some of it, I'm going to post some of it, because one of the most inspirational things I've ever heard comes out of this dude's mouth. And they called him the great communicator, and someone asked him about that. Oh, you're the great communicator. He's like, no. He's like, not really. It's just the ideas that I communicate are kind of great, not me. I mean, that was the type of dude he was, He wouldn't even take credit for that. But this was some weird-ass looking tree right on the it's like the pier is like 2 blocks away. And this spot is like right there. I don't know if that was a fake tree, like a CIA tree or something. Some kind of spy tree. I don't know. Because I've never seen anything like that. That looks like those fake 5G towers. I mean, what the F kind of tree is that? But that's on the property there. Damn. The Reagan Ranch Center. It's just a building. It's not his actual ranch, put it that way. Bam. Look at that. Flag. Like, people think that that's backwards. It's technically not. Oh, there's me. What up? Everything has this kind of Mediterranean. I wouldn't say everything, but a lot has that look in Santa Barbara. That's a bronze. He was our 40th president. That's a bronze right there. They're not in any particular. I don't know why they imported weird. I should have labeled them so I could narrate a little bit. But this was from one of his retired Secret Service agents, because, even after he got out of office. They get Secret Service protection. But guys familiar with pew-pews, these guys, Secret Service, they were rocking 38s. Look at the old speed loaders. They haven't changed at all in all this time. So they were protecting the president with 38s with speed loaders. That's kind of nuts. Yeah, his actual... I mean, it just being here, I can't even describe how that felt. If you're in the area, you should go. If you know nothing about the man, you owe it to yourself and your family to find out a little more about him. There's some of his other gear. The dude's hat. He actually sat there and rocked that old ass phone and whatnot. That's just crazy. And it's all there. They put a barrier up around it. I had a little bit of a conflict going in there. You know, I'm Bror Fredrik. Something was bound to hit the fan a little bit, but we'll get into that momentarily. All right, let's backpedal a little bit. Here's the table at his ranch. He just busted with this like ordinary ass table and dropped his signature on. Look at all that. He said, I read every one of these. That's the largest tax break that's ever been given to the American people in the history of this country. And, you know, people fought him. Oh, but it's going to help out the rich. Yeah, it's helping out everyone, so shut the actual F up. Anyway, but he read it all, but this is where he signed that, the largest tax relief program in United States history, on this table outside his ranch, just chilling like Bob Dylan. You know, that's kind of dude he was. I mean, check him out. He's just rocking his Wranglers and whatnot. Threw some grease in his hair. He's just like, all right, bitches, you know, watch me sign this. And he's even like, the mics are still there and everything. Look at that. That's just crazy. Sat in a simple to sign the Economic Recovery Tax Act and Omnibus Budget Reconciliation Act, the largest tax cut in American frickin' history. And you're still benefiting from it today. These and other tax cuts would eventually reduce the highest tax rate from 70% to 20%. Does 28% still ring a bell? Because that's what the one of the tax rates is now, the corporate tax rate and other ones. It used to be 70% until freaking Reagan done fixed that. Anyway, that's just nuts. He sat there. And I was just like, mic check, let me get a mic check. In Reagan's microphone. Wow. I mean, I just like, I was legitimately choked up the entire time. I was legitimately choked up. It was like being in around greatness and history. Oh my goodness. It was just nuts. And here it is. He signed all that. Approved. Ronald frickin' Reagan. He saved America. Almost, pretty much saved the world. I don't care what anyone says. Hey, Gorbachev, tear down his fucking wall already, you know? He created a unified Germany. I mean, but, you know, he gave tax breaks to few rich people. But he also saved the world. These were supposedly some of the books that inspired his character. And if you yank on them, you pull them like this, ta, it would tell you a little story up in this. They were like switches. There goes some of his tools. Like in the movie that they showed for 13 minutes, they physically showed it. You could tell it's the same freaking axe. I mean, this dude, he was president. And he was also working on his ranch. During one of his campaigns, he went back to the ranch to help them build another 400 feet of fencing for the cattle. The guy was a boss. The guy was just a straight up boss. I mean, check him out. He's just like, you know, he knew the value of work. I mean, he ain't even a young man then either. And he's swinging axes, and that's his freaking chainsaw. That's his toolbox. It's like the same toolbox you and I got, you know? With a frickin' Craftsman flathead and whatnot. I mean, that's just nuts. He was just like a dude. That was his tools. Let's see what the dudeness is doing there. Oh, wait till you see this. Hold everything. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. So you yank on one of these books, and it would play up here like a summary of his favorite books and what they meant to him and how they inspired him. That was a replica of, because those are pictures if you look closely. That was a replica of what was in his ranch. And his ranch, you know, the quote-unquote ranch, it was only 1,600 square feet. And he was a freaking president and a movie star besides that. But, you know, he didn't need all that. He just wanted to be with his books and his tools and his woman. You know? He was down with Lonesome Dove. And I found that one of the most fascinating series. I didn't read it, but I thought it was fascinating in terms of, you know, the actual series with Robert Duvall and whatnot. I thought it was amazing. And so did Ronald Reagan. So me and him were like this. What up? A man of principle. A man of frickin' principle. How many men of principle are in politics these days? Exactly how many? Can we count them? I don't think so. I don't think there's many. Is it just some press passes? And, you know, he was calling some bullshit on people. It just came out straight up. It's like, you Soviets are fucking liars, you know, and we're going to catch you. This meant a lot to me because these were some of the cameras that they used. And they're all Nikons, like custom built, like super long lens Nikons. Look at that tripod. You know, he had a pretty good relationship with the news. Look at Colin Powell over there. And who do we have here? Look at him. He's just like, what up, yo? Like rocking his big friggin' belt buckles. Look at that. Even his jeans, they be torn up and whatnot. Look at that. That's what they were filming on back in the day. Look at that thing. And they custom rigged this lens, and it's a Nikon lens, so that they could take video from freaking miles away. Blah, 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 blah. That means a lot to me because I'm a photographer and a Nikon guy. 360 to 1200. And they got the lens with the help of Hollywood. Now check this out. Bro was podcasting back in the day. Everyone's like, oh, Joe Rogan. This dude has so many speeches. Go look him up online and just sit back and put them on and put the lights out and just put it on loud like you're there. And let your family listen too. And you'll just be like dumbfounded by some of the stuff, the sense that this dude makes. But he was like the original podcast bro. It wasn't frickin' Joe Rogan. He was a podcast bro. Check him out. This is the very table he was doing mic checks from. That's crazy. Check him out. Like interview, and he's not putting on the airs. He's just like, right after this shit, I gotta go build me some fence, you know? And he ain't no youngster there neither. Dude was podcasting back in the day. Like one of the original podcasters. I mean, check him out. He's a podcast right outside of his barn and shit. Nuts. All right, here we go. Look at Holmes in his Jeep. Just cruising. Just cruising in his Jeep. Oh, what? It's not bulletproof? Oh, what? It's not a designer? Oh, what? No, he just like dug a frickin'... Look, he's got Kragers on it, you know? He's just a dude. But there it is. What up? There it is. He cruised in that. A scrambler. Don't touch. Hey, Bror Fredrik, don't touch. I just thought that was the bossest thing ever. Check him out. Check him out with his boots. He didn't rock the cowboy boots. He rocked the 3-buckle boots. And every day he wrote a log. And I got a piece of that too. Every day he wrote like a log, keeping track of what he did, who he talked to, yada, 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 what business he conducted and what places he had to go. That was the ranch. You know, not ostentatious, not anything. Granted, there was some Secret Service. There was, they had some like fake rocks made out of fiberglass where they kept surveillance equipment, sometimes people inside and whatnot, because it's a freaking president, you know? So, yeah. And that's a bench that's sitting out there, boss. That's him riding a horse like a boss. Some more speed loader activities. That's the movie. That is the movie. I mean, I couldn't find it anywhere. If anyone out there in YouTube land has a copy or can find a copy, I recorded about a third of it. But yeah, if someone has this or knows somewhere where it could be watched and whatnot, this was just, I mean, it had me like it was like a cutting onion type of scenario. I was just like, no, it's not me, it's you, bro. You know? I mean, everyone there was just mesmerized. This was, it was a work of art and the most amazing tribute. And, wow. It was an emotional experience watching that. So if someone knows where I could score that, hit me up. And there's a painting. This be his Bible, yo. Because he didn't freaking give 0 F's neither. He wasn't afraid to talk about God. Great men never are. Yeah. And they wouldn't let me in there. That was like for, I don't know what, some speaking stuff. I want to get up there and sounds like all like emotional. I want to go speak. Check him out. Just what up, bro? You know, what up, bro? What you up to, man? Is this a dude? What a great man. Yeah, he purchased it before he became president. But look how it's just like it's just a crib, you know. This is back in the day. That's like before he was just thinking about getting into politics. And he was busting out speeches. I'm going to get into office and I'm going to give the government back to the people for who it belongs to. Whoa, intense dude. Intense freaking dude. I remember when he died, I cried. And so did Gorbachev. If you've seen that, you know, Gorbachev went to his funeral, cried. There go Nancy. Nancy was a little bit of a strange bird. She had some other spiritual beliefs going on that she supposedly was into. But she was a godly person too. But she had some other stuffs going on. The Young Americans Foundation. Yeah, what up? Oh, there's where I got in trouble. That's part of the Berlin Wall. I mean, the man pretty much freaking saved Europe, you know? So they have a big chunk of the Berlin Wall there. So I gotta touch it. I mean, it's not like the same one in this is a historic piece. This was Reagan's piece of the Berlin Wall. You know, it's not like the one they got at Main Street Station with, you know, people piss all over it. You know, this is the jam. So I went and touched it and I took a picture of me touching it just because I just felt connected, you know? I mean, so many people lived and died and families torn apart. And you look at Germany now, people forget that it used to be East Germany and West Germany. You know, one was communist, one wasn't. If you tried to cross, you would get brah, 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 brah. You were a dead man. And now Germany's just like one big happy old place and it's all foregone, whatever. We forget about that. And we forget that Ronald Reagan was the dude who made that happen. So I had to go and touch that. And some stick up his ass freaking guy was just like, hey, you can't touch that. I'm like, yo, bro. I mean, there were older people in there, but I'm just like, yo, bro, ain't no sign that says that. I said, if you don't want me touching something, you better go run upstairs and put a sign on everything you don't want me to touch, because I'm going to touch it. I'm going to touch it. This is a wall. This belongs to the people. I felt like, all right, I'm getting upset again. I felt like telling this dude, one, if Ronald Reagan was standing here, he would be ashamed of you right now. He would actually be ashamed of your ass for correcting me for touching this greatness. So sit your ass back down. And I swear this guy followed me around the rest of the day, but didn't say a word because I confronted him. I ain't gonna, if you don't want me to touch it, put a freaking sign up there. Otherwise, I'm touching it. Not to be a jackass, but I wanted to connect with, one of my heroes. And I don't say that lightly, but Ronald Reagan was, he's one of them. So I wanted to connect with that because I know he touched it too. But, don't have a stick up your ass, Don't, and that's what people like when people think of traditional and conservative. They think of people with sticks up their asses. And that's the other thing I wanted to say to him. I was like, you're the exact kind of person that makes conservatives and traditionally minded people look like assholes to the rest of the world. It's a turnoff. You're walking around, you could be broom up your ass, you could be sweeping and walking at the same time. Go sit down. But I digress. But I got my way. I got my picture. I was like, no. Just no, bro. Ain't happening, bro. Look at him. They put dirt on his face because he just got finished doing some ranching. There, that's it right there. That's it right there. I told him. That is it right there. And just like a cool guy to hang out with. I'd hang out with him. What kind of watch you got? Looks like a Rolly or a Citizens. Nice horse. What up, horse? Oh, there goes Boots. He had narrow feet. I noticed that. His feet are very narrow. But look at all them. That freaking things take like a half hour to put on. Oh, is that the end? Is it done? Dang. Yeah, let's leave it on that.